Yeah, here he is, Mr. Larry King.
Look at the look on his face.
Yes, sir.
I know you're thrilled.
We are thrilled.
We are thrilled, sir.
We have watched you for many years.
Try to hold it down. Okay.
And we are, in fact, on the air. A lot of people walk in and go, are we on the air?
Yeah. Sirius Radio. I listen to Sirius. I know it's
okay.
By the way, is this air conditioning designed to kill people? Is that it?
It is quite a draft, right?
Yeah. You want to move over one?
I would like to move over.
Move
over there.
Jim Norton seat. It's either get cold or get some kind of a communicable disease from Jimmy Norton.
The great Larry King.
I had that grill moved because it would blow on me and, what a draft. It's crazy.
I can't take
Larry, you started in radio, right?
Sure.
How do we get out of this radio thing?
Yeah, how did you get out of it?
Well,
because that's what we.
First, I'll tell you about. I started in 1957. Neither of you were born.
No.
Right? Okay.
No, close.
And I always wanted to be in radio, and I thought I'd be, honest to the truth, I thought I'd be either a sportscaster or a comedian. This is why I'm doing this comedy tour.
Yes.
Because I've always told funny stories, always appeared at conventions and the like. But I loved radio as a kid. I used to listen to radio. And I was 5 years old saying I wanted to be in radio.
Wow.
I'd listen to The Shadow.
The Shadow knows.
Who knows what evil
lurks
in the hearts of men.
The Shadow knows.
The Shadow knows.
Yeah.
And I would listen to that, and then I'd go into the bathroom, and I'd imitate it.
Really?
I'd do the same thing.
Oh.
The Shadow knows. What a high that was. So a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Yeah.
Oh, I went nuts. What Lights Out? There was a show called Lights Out. Arch Oboler did it. It was on Sunday night. And the announcer would say, turn down your blinds. Lock your doors. Crawl under your couch. And turn your lights out.
Sounds very complicated.
Well, it freaked me out because you could imagine anything you want listening to that.
Right.
So I always wanted to do it, and then one day I did a bunch of odd jobs. I worked for United Parcel Service. I worked at a building right near here for a factoring company. I just got out of high school. My father had died. I had to help my mother. But I always wanted radio, and I ran into this guy named James Shermans, who worked for CBS.
Right.
And I said, where could I break into radio? I was 22. And he said, go down and try Miami, because it's a lot of stations, no union. So there's either guys on the way up or the way out.
And you had no experience at all except for just practicing in the bathroom.
Knocked on doors, and this guy at a small radio station said, I like you. We got a big turnover here. If you hang around, learn a little of the business. First opening you got.
What was radio like back then when you started, though?
Well, it was a lot of stations. FM was nothing.
Of course.
Yeah, FM was. In fact, our station, our big station that I joined, gave away its FM station. Just gave it as a gift to the University of Miami.
Right.
I think that station is number 2 in the market now.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, there were a lot of stations. And, of course, the Spanish influx started a couple of years later. And a lot of Spanish stations. And it was fun because you picked your own music. Mm-hmm. At least on the station I was on, we played Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald.
And you got to pick the songs.
Oh, yeah, you picked your own songs. But I did everything. I did news, sports, jumped there. I did everything in the world. But my first day on the air, now this is a life's dream come true, right? I'm going to be on radio. Monday morning, 9 o'clock, May 1st, 1957. And I'm nervous as hell. And the general manager calls me in, and he says, this is your big day, kid. You're starting the radio. I said, yeah, I'm nervous. What name are you going to use? I'm stunned. My name was Larry Zeiger, Zeiger's no good. It's too ethnic, and people won't know how to spell it. You need another name. I need another name. I'm 10 minutes, got to go on the air. And he had the Miami Herald open, and there was an ad for King's Wholesale Liquors. And he says, how about Larry King?
That's how
I never knew that.
Sounds fine to me. Whoops. Now I'm in the studio. I got my record cued, Les Elgart, swinging down the lane. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to fade it and talk over it. And I fade it and turn the mic on, and nothing comes out. And I bring the music up, and I bring it down, I bring it up, I bring it down, I bring it down, and I'm scared to death. And I'm looking at the clock, and like 2 minutes has gone by. And I said to myself, my whole career's ruined. I'm scared to death. And apparently I just don't have the moxie to do this. And the general manager, Marshall Simmons, I really loved him, he kicked open the door to the control room. And he said, "This is a communications business. God damn it, communicate." He shut the door. All I did was turn on the mic. And I did something then, 1957, that I would do today. I was honest with the audience. So I said, "Good morning, my name is Larry King," and that's the first time I've ever said that. This is my first day on the radio. I wanted it all my life. Scared to death. Been playing the music. Don't know what to say. General manager just kicked the door open. He said to communicate. I better communicate. I was never nervous again. Radio 2 years later got into television. Always did both. Never had a nervous moment again in broadcast because I learned that morning.
Yeah, wow.
That it ain't brain surgery.
Sure.
Okay, so what is going to happen is going to happen. But if you're honest, in retrospect, I realize if you're honest with the audience, you cannot go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If I miscued records that morning, or broke at the wrong time, or said the wrong thing, the audience has got to be saying, "It's his first day."
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought you've been too honest with the audience at times? Because I know that when we do this show, especially if it's a slow news day, you'll notice certain things will come out of us that we might not bring up on an ordinary news-filled day.
No, because I used to do a morning show. That's where I really started to get famous, was doing a funny morning show. And I did all sorts of wacky things. But no, I was raised in a different era of broadcasting.
I don't necessarily mean outrageous stuff. I mean just really letting people in on your personal life, growing up, things like that.
No, because when I started interviewing people, it was never about me. It was always about them.
Okay, right.
I never used the word "I" when I interviewed people. I thought my opinions were irrelevant. Like a lot of guys today, I don't like because they're soap opera guys.
Well,
I don't learn anything. I never learned anything when I was talking.
My dumb opinion on you, that's why you're a great interviewer. You let the guest talk.
I let the guest talk. I listen.
It's so
I follow
simple.
up.
If you think about it, but a lot of these guys, they have to talk just as much as the guest.
And my friend Herbie Cohen says, "You know why you're successful? One, you created a vacuum and filled it. Second, you're dumb." That's the truth. You're like, why? Why did you do that? The simplest question. All these guys figure when we had the first Gulf War, we must have done 70 straight nights on that war. Worked Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. And my question, people came over to me and said, "You asked the same first question every night, which was, what happened?"
Yeah.
I would have reporters on, generals, people involved, people over there. What happened? But most guys think that they have to look smart. So they start to say, today, and here's my opinion. The simplest thing is, if you say what happened, one, you learn a lot. You learn it from their point of view. I wasn't there, so I don't know more medicine than doctors. I don't know more law than lawyers. I understood that.
Right.
And I always knew that I'd be there tomorrow night. I'm going to be there tonight. It's my show. That's what the name says.
That's what we say all the time.
Well, I want my guests to be great. I want them to be super great.
Because they're going to say, the Larry King show was great last night.
If I did comedy,
right,
I want the comedian to be funny.
Why
would I want him not to be funny? I don't want to top him.
I got to jump in. That's been our secret for many years. There's a lot of radio guys that feel like they have to be the funniest guy in the room when you have a really funny guy on. And I've told Anthony over the years, we'll get credit no matter what. And if the guy's killing, if Larry King is killing right now, I'll go home and my people around me go, "Wow, the show was great today."
If people listening to me and they find this interesting, that little story I just told, breaking they found that interesting. Where did it happen? On Opie and Anthony. Right. So I'm gone. You're here tomorrow.
Right.
So if this show is good, they say, "Boy, Opie and Anthony."
I wonder if we've got that philosophy from Larry King, because that's something we completely believe in. I got to go back. You said you've never been nervous since your first broadcast. I don't believe that. All those people you've talked to over the years, no one really got you nervous inside.
Nervous for a moment. A
little bit here, a little bit there.
Frank Sinatra.
Frankie.
Of course, he was hard to get, and Jackie Gleason got him for me. And I never thought he'd show up, and he owed Gleason a favor, and that's why he came.
Wow.
And we later
from Gleason.
We later became friends. No, I was never nervous for Jackie.
We're big Gleason fans.
Jackie made it. Oh, Jackie was my mentor.
That guy.
When Jackie came down to Miami, they rented a train. They took a whole Amtrak train, and I was on that train.
No kidding.
Yeah, I flew up from Miami, and I flew down, and then I hosted the Welcome Jackie Gleason dinner. I did a lot of emceeing.
Right.
That's why doing comedy is very not new to me. And so I stood on stage with him, and then he used to come on my show. Came on my. He was an insomniac, so he'd call in the middle of the night.
Wow.
And he came on my television show. First time he came on, he changed the whole set. He didn't like the set, so we broke into the general manager's office, and he brought new chairs in.
Wow.
And he lit it. He wanted it lit differently. Jackie was a genius.
We love Jackie.
I was
Gleason.
just talking last night about The Honeymooners was on, and I was like, what show in this day and age can you say in 50 years from now is still going to be on and still be hysterically funny?
My driver, when I'm in New York, Joe, he has all the tapes, and he plays them.
Over and over again.
You
just
can watch
watching them
those.
over.
You don't get sick
They
of them.
never lose. He let me, when they went down to Miami, they did hour shows, and they did them in color, and they did it with music, and it was very creative. And he let me sit in on writers' meetings, and it was really wild to watch those writers go. Because the honeymooners, when you think about the honeymooners, what problems he gave the writers, for example, never saw the bedroom.
Right, yeah.
Never had a phone. So you could never introduce a gag using the phone, where sitcoms always use the phones. The phone, that terrible phone call. You know,
2 episodes he had a phone, I believe.
yeah, they had a phone. He couldn't take it.
Had
They
a phone.
hid it in
was-
the drawer.
Yeah, hidden in the drawer, and the one where he had the counterfeit money and bought the phone. Gave the guy $100 just to take the clicking out of the phone.
And then and Norton was a genius. You had to come to the
Yeah.
door or look out the window or go to the raccoons.
Right.
The raccoons where they wave the back of their
Yep.
the raccoon. Woo, woo, woo.
That was
But Jackie was a comedic genius. Never rehearsed.
Wow.
He had a guy built just like him, a friend of his for years, who would do all the rehearsals. And
E-Rock?
He'd watch the rehearsals on the tape, and then he watched all the scenes. So, as Art Carney once told me, it was really weird. When you did something with Jackie, like when you came through the door on a Honeymooner show, the first time you saw Jackie, that was the first time.
When you were taping it.
Another guy had rehearsed it. So Jackie knew all the moves. He knew what moves worked and didn't work. So he didn't need you to rehearse with you. He worked off of you. And he understood regular people, poor people. He turned down a script. I went to a script meeting once, and they came up with a funny idea. In the 40s and 30s, in the Depression years, they would have rent parties in Brooklyn. A rent party was if you couldn't make your rent. You threw a party for your friends. You had a little dish by the door. The friends threw money in when they came in. And you would serve the Coca-Cola and pretzels. They could bring beer, and that's the party. And funny things happen. Money gets lost. Things get lost. And I'm sitting in this writers' meeting, and it was really funny. It had a million jokes. And now Jackie comes in, and they read it for Jackie. And he's laughing. Yeah! And he's pounding the desk. And he says, I won't go. Kill it. Why? Because Cramden would never throw a rent party. He had too much pride. He could never ask people to come and give him money.
Yeah, that would be out of character for Rob Cramden, yeah.
So they go through this whole time, and all the writers look deflated. He says, but we could come up with another idea, and you could use that joke there and put that one in this.
So the jokes wouldn't be lost.
The jokes would not be lost, but the concept was lost.
Right.
What a great thing to have, memories of actually hanging out with Gleason. That's amazing.
That's the only part of growing old that's good.
How did you?
The rest is a bitch.
How did you go
Anyone
from?
who tells you these are the golden years is a
It's
freaking liar.
It's crap.
These are not the golden years.
How did you go from spinning records and talking on the radio to interviews and becoming a famous interviewer?
There was a famous restaurant in Miami Beach called Pumpernicks, and they were open 24 hours a day, and the slow time of day was in the morning, mid-morning, like from 10 to 11:30. So the owner of Pumpernicks used to listen to my morning show, right? They had a lot of funny things. And he liked me, and he says, why don't you come to my restaurant every morning? When you finish your show, I was on from 6 to 9, drive up, I'll give you some extra money, and we'll do my show from the restaurant from 10 to 11. And that show, so I couldn't prepare or anything. I just came, I was interviewing waiters and visiting visiting people going to conventions. And one day Bobby Darin walked in. And I love Bobby Darin. And Mac the Knife was the #1 song in the country. And he was up early, and he had listened to me. And he came over. So I put them on. I couldn't prepare, but I loved it. And then Jimmy Hoffa came. Wow. There was a Teamster convention.
Wow.
And Hoffa came in with the Teamsters, and suddenly I'm 23 years old, and I'm interviewing Jimmy Hoffa in a restaurant. But I got to love it. I got to love asking questions. I got to love the listening part. I got to love everything about it. And that show propelled me into getting a television show, Sunday night TV show on the ABC affiliate. And then they moved the radio show from a disc jockey show to a nighttime talk show. They didn't call it talk show. It was just a show. And I did a show from Surfside 6, the houseboat, which was very big at the time because it was where a TV show was filmed. And that started it all.
You said you used to do wacky stuff as a morning guy?
Oh, yeah.
What was the wackiest thing you did?
I had a...
It might sound dated now, but at the time,
well, maybe
I'm sure.
it isn't dated. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay, wait a minute. I had...
Don't make us compare stories.
This occurred because in driving to work, I would listen to traffic reporters.
Right.
And they would say things like, this is Miami, right? I-95 is jammed from 37th Street to 67th Street. Please use 7th Avenue. It's a lot easier, right? And then 10 minutes later, the guy would come on and say, 7th Avenue is jammed. So he caused the problem.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I got to thinking, I'd have my own traffic reporter. And I just hit a little switch, changed my voice a little, called him Captain Wainwright, and he turned into a crooked cop. And he would offer things to the audience. He would interrupt me. It was me talking to me.
Right.
But he would sell flashing lights that you could put on top of your car and play cop. You know, you could drive around. He would take bets inside. He was a phony police officer. And that thing caught on. People had bumper strips called Don't Give Me a Ticket, I Know Captain Wainwright. Wow. And I turned him into a character. Then I would interrupt song. I put a song on at the wrong record. Mangos. Rosie Clooney had a hit record called Mangos. And I hit the wrong speed. It was at 45.
Hit the wrong speed. How old are you, Larry? That's amazing.
Well, you don't remember records?
Well,
they were big guys. They were a thing called records. Listen, they were round.
We know records.
They were vinyl. No, you'd love them.
He's just busting your balls.
You'd put him down. I know he is. I'm busting him. You put him down with a little needle. It was fascinating. You could scratch him. And we had a thing called...
Sometimes you had to put a penny on the thing.
Yeah, you had a thing called queuing.
Oh, you had to queue up your record.
The record, right? Anyway, I put this record on at the wrong speed and actually played very spa. I let the whole thing play. I came on and said that was a guy who lived in the Aleutian Islands, and he sent this song to Columbia Records, and they stole it, and they gave it to Rosie Clooney, and it's a sham. And people wrote to Columbia Records, and the head of the company called the station, who is this crazy guy making up this fella from the Aleutian Islands that's playing this record, that's singing this record. So I would do a lot of wacky things.
He was a bad boy, Ant.
The interview, I was
you were a bad boy.
A bad boy in those times.
Right.
Sure.
Did you get fired at some point in your...
The only time I got fired was when the station went all black. We had a station go all black, and they let everybody go.
Couldn't get your funk on?
No. But I got hired back again on a new station, bigger station. And,
yeah.
And then the TV really took off. Then I was on a station for 18, which is unheard of now. 18 years on one station.
Yeah, I didn't know you were into comedy. I think a lot of people are surprised by that. And you said earlier in the interview that it was always your thing.
Well, what I did was I used to go do conventions.
Right.
Because people would call and say, can he speak at the General Motors convention or AMA? I go around speaking. In fact, this past Thursday, I was in Lisbon, Portugal. I spoke to a major group, and all comedy. I just told funny stories.
So
I've been doing this.
And that's what you've been doing.
A
lot of people don't know that.
When I semi-retired, my nephew is Scott Zeiger. He produced a lot of Broadway shows. He produced The Producers. Mm-hmm. And he's got the Jersey Boys in Vegas. He says, I saw you work at conventions. Why don't we put together a comedy show? And you tour as a one-man show, sort of like Billy Crystal's 700 Sundays. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, so this is going to be heavily produced. It's like a Broadway show, but it's just me. I come on, but there'll be backdrops and tapes. And I walk through it. So I said, well, where will I get booked? So listen to this. This is the truth. This coming Saturday, I'm at the Borgata in Atlantic City.
That's a good game.
Sunday,
nice.
Wilbur Theater, Boston.
Wow.
The following Friday, I'm at the Hoosier Park Racing Casino. Saturday, June 4th, Biloxi, Mississippi. Friday, June 10th, Reno, Nevada, the Silver Legacy Hotel. June 11th, Nevada, Las Vegas, the Mirage. June 20th, Chandler, Arizona. I love this. The Wild Horse Pass Hotel and Casino. September 23rd, get this, boys, Reykjavik, Iceland.
Iceland.
September 25th, Stockholm, Sweden. The September 26th, Bergen, Norway. September 27th, they love me in Norway. Oh, I'm big in Oslo.
Yeah, big in Oslo.
Downtown Oslo.
Yeah. Downtown, not so much the
Stavanger,
suburbs.
Norway. Copenhagen, Denmark. Munich, Germany. A Jew comes to Munich.
Wow.
London in October, and then in October, Snoqualmie, Washington. That's at a casino in Washington.
I assume
then I'm
from
in
the name.
Morristown, New Jersey. Westbury, New York. The Westbury
of course,
Music Center.
Westbury.
Ottawa, Ontario, Toronto, Santa Rosa, California, Newport News, Virginia, Tampa, Naples, West Palm Beach, Baltimore.
Sounds like he's taking calls from the show. Cities
Palm
like
Desert,
that.
Tucson, and then we're working on Sydney, Australia. And
So who doesn't like you and
Exhausted.
who doesn't like you and your family? They're making you work that hard, Larry.
Jeez.
well,
You're supposed to be
they're
semi-retired.
They're
That's not
mostly Friday and
semi-retired.
Saturdays, and frankly, I wonder why I agreed to this.
Yeah, that's a lot of dates in a lot of places.
Because
Wow.
I got two little boys, and I really love them. And even though I'm my age, I have a wife who's 26 years younger.
Yeah.
So we have two little boys. People see us together. I know what they're thinking. I always say the same thing. I always say the same thing. If she dies, she dies. Hey, you could always get another wife. What the hell? And
Well, you have done that over the
my
years.
two boys, shut up.
I just want to know what the obsession is with marriage with you.
Why I got okay.
Well, because just so you know, Ant was married once.
Once, that's all it took.
I think he did about 10.
I put in my 9 years.
And then
Do you have children?
No.
And then it took him 9 years to get out of it.
You missed that.
No, I'm glad
Children
I did.
are a joy. No.
Are they a joy?
Oh, the best. You have kids?
Yeah, my son's 1 year old. 1 year old today. Love it.
Congratulations.
Love it. Changed
There's
my
nothing
life.
like your life is never the same. They'll never be the minute they're born, never the same.
I'm like you,
I have-
Larry. I date kids.
I have three grown. I never dated. Like my wife is the youngest girl I've ever dated. I never liked really young girls because I wouldn't know.
What to do with them?
No, what do you say in the morning to someone who didn't know who Adlai
Get out?
Stevenson was? Right? It would be hard for me. Anyway,
Have sex with them.
I got married. I got married because, it's funny. I don't know why. Because I have, of my 6 marriages, I have only loved in my life a total of 3 women.
Really?
Yeah. And
So now what would
why did I
possess
marry?
you?
I think it's because first marriage was everybody went to the army and I was deferred. I was because of my eyesight. So there was nothing to do. All the guys were gone. I met a girl. I married her. And then I went down to my, and then, I discovered what you like at 20 is not what you like at 30.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think when I see a marriage that's 56 years, they've been married 56 years, I got to figure they made a lot of compromises. And boy, oh boy, they had to put up with a lot of crap. And I couldn't stand the compromises.
But why
Is that-
not just date, though?
I don't know why, and I never lived with anyone. I didn't even like staying overnight somewhere. I like going home.
Is it a religious thing?
Religious?
I don't know. To be married 7 or 8 times, it's...
I don't know. I still don't understand it. I look back. I don't have any of my ex-wives who dislike me. I have 2 children from a previous marriage. One of the marriages brought me 2 children. And I have 2 children from this marriage, and another child I adopted. I have all the kids are friendly.
You're just one of those guys that blurt out, "Will you marry me?"
I don't know why. I've walked down the aisle wondering what am I doing? I don't know. I don't know what it was. In fact, I have never felt until Sean. I have never felt. This is strange to say this. I have never felt married. I didn't cheat on my wife. I did not cheat, but I never felt married.
Like a
First of
husband
all,
and wife, and that
first
whole
of all,
sanctity
my work
of marriage.
always came first, which was a sign It's a bad sign.
And your wives knew this, right?
Yeah, I know that was some of the reasons why it ended. For example, if I got two calls at the same time, your wife called urgent, CNN called urgent.
CNN.
You call CNN.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
See, and that shouldn't be.
I was in one of those relationships. I totally get it. And I stayed in way too long because the career with me and it, our careers were, doing great. So I just put all that on the back burner.
The trouble is, when you get a little older, and you will get older,
the other option is not very nice.
Yeah, the alternative is you'll be sorry you missed some of the years you missed.
Do you look back at some of the marriages and think, oh, man, what a waste of time that was? I could have done, that.
Yeah. Oh, why didn't I? What was I thinking? And why did I take that? Why would I take that? Because even now, I get itchy if someone says, you can't do that. I'm 77 years old. What do you mean you can't do that? As Rickles said, what are they going to do to me?
Yeah. Did you retire on your own accord, or was there some type of...
No, it was a double situation. I've always had a great time with CNN. I still work for them. We just did an Alzheimer's special. We got a special coming with Johnny Depp. Full hour. He doesn't do interviews. Full hour with Johnny Depp.
He's an odd fish.
But he's funny. I got emails we should have print. I got a new book coming next month. CNN came to me. They've always given me long contracts. I was there 25 years in the same spot, same time. And the last contract they offered me was like for a year. And I read it like writing on the wall. So I said, well, what, maybe it's time. You want someone new? And the ratings had gone down all over the network.
How long did you know before it was announced that you were pretty much done?
About 2 months, but I hadn't actually. Yeah, I worked right up until 6 months, and I'm still being paid because I had a year still to go, and then I'm doing another 3 years of 4 specials a year, so I'm still part of CNN.
Okay,
but I can do anything else I want now. I can do a comedy tour. I can do commercials. I can do. The only thing I can't do is I can't go to Fox News or to MSNBC.
Right.
Well, they're two big rivals. I can't go there.
You don't miss the grind, do you, of doing it every day?
No, I tell you what I miss. I miss a story like Obama.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this.
Osama bin Laden.
It's got to be killing you not on TV for
you
this.
Want to run in. Right. Do it. You want to run in. Or Japan, a terrible thing to happen. Or Mubarak leaves Egypt. You want to run in. However, you don't miss, the Kardashians. You could do without the missing lady in Topeka, Washington that they're all looking for, and they're offering a reward. I could do without. British royalty could do without. Did not miss doing the wedding. You. Forget the royalty. Don't like royalty. So it's mixed emotions. Right. I had to do a lot of tabloid shows. Now, once I was on, I always gave my all. You never throw away a show.
Right.
But
But did it kill you that you didn't handle it differently, like the Kardashians? They're just... I don't even understand why they're famous.
What are you going to do when you're there? You got to be on. What am I going to yell at them? I don't. They didn't do anything.
Well, that's
wrong.
our problem. We would.
No, some people expect you to be like, why didn't you? I'm sure you read things.
I guess, yeah. But I always felt that, look, it's up to you to determine how you feel about them. But so what I have now is mixed emotions. I have, on the one hand, I miss it. On the other hand, I don't.
Right.
So I compared it the other day. It's like watching your mother-in-law go over the cliff in your new Bentley.
Yes.
What?
Bittersweet.
Yeah,
bittersweet.
Days and bad.
I have to ask you something that I've been toiling over since I heard it.
Toil.
This was something where you said something during an interview where I couldn't fathom this. It was a woman. She was talking about a horrific rape that had happened. And it was in her car, I believe. And she had gone shopping, grocery shopping. And she describes this horrible situation of this sexual assault. And you actually asked, your first question to her was, what did you do with the groceries? Do you remember that one?
No, but it would have been something I'd ask.
Yeah,
what happened to the groceries?
I was like, that
would be...
is probably the most inappropriate thing you could have asked at the moment.
She was taken back by
I would love to know your mindset behind something like that.
I have no memory of that. I swear to God.
Do you have the clip?
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, because I would love to play
My only guess, if you have, I hope you have the clip, because then I could have an explanation.
Put it in context, right?
Put it in context. Now, maybe...
why can't I find it? Go ahead. We'll find it.
No, if you can find it, I'd love to hear it. We'll see it, because I'm trying to think. It sounds ridiculous.
It sounded like, oh my God, he didn't even take into consideration what this woman had been through. He's asking what happened to the groceries was, who cares about the groceries?
It might have been. See, I don't know the backstory.
Were you hungry, Larry?
I don't know the backstory. Was there a police investigation into this?
Oh, and perhaps there could have been some evidence.
Was there someone accused who was denying he did it? See, in other words, if you give me the whole story, I can give you a case where
some kind of context.
Let me hear it.
Okay,
Which one is it? Sorry, we're not prepared. I thought we had this right in front of me. 18? Okay.
Yeah, pop that in. Track 18. This was the.
I got the long version. So.
Okay, that's good. That'll put it in context.
It was about a minute. Here we go.
It's got to queue up.
As I came out of the grocery store and got in my car, Philip knocked on my window and said, I can't seem to get my car to start. It's cold. Do you think you could give me a ride? Which way are you going? And of course, he was going to go any which way I was going. And so I did.
Why did you let him in the car?
I don't know. It was the worst decision I've ever made, I think. It truly was.
What happened when he got in?
When he got in, I filled his hands with a lot of food that they had in the front seat anyway. I tried to engage him in...
He was holding your food?
He was. I tried to engage him in small conversation on the trip. I tried to stay on the main street, and when I got ready to turn, he said, well, where I'm staying is right up the road here. So I took him a little further up, and then just turned around the corner and pulled over, and he slammed my head into the steering wheel and pulled out handcuffs. He took my keys out, threw them on the floor, and pulled out handcuffs and handcuffed me and said, I just want a piece of ass. If you be good, you won't get hurt.
What did he do with the food?
He put it on the floor, I guess.
Hold on, stop right there.
Okay.
Now, you see you guys taking out of context.
Now I would
took it totally out of context.
I finally get an answer, though. This is fantastic.
Hold it.
We've been obsessed with this one, Larry.
Obsessed.
We play that clip a lot.
You played a lot?
Yes.
That was great questioning.
Okay.
I got her in the car.
Finally.
Yeah. Why did she let the guy in the car?
Okay.
I got her driving, right? Now I got her driving. Now, she said there was food in the car.
Yeah.
The guy, by the way, I'm trying to remember this case because it was
1976. It was Philip Garrido.
Yeah. Garrido was later charged with harboring he hit a woman for years. He's still alive somewhere. The Garrido case,
right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. He denied it. His lawyer was denying it. So part of a good police investigation would be, you said there was food in the front of the car, right? Mm-hmm. He's knocking you out of the car. He's taking you out of the car. What happened to the food? Did he knock the food over? Was the food found at the scene? One of my great moments.
All right, investigative
That's
reporting.
A whole series. You're taking it out of... See, you ask it as just as if a woman said I was raped. What happened to the food? That's not what happened. So you guys are playing...
Is he turning this on us?
Taking advantage.
This can't happen.
So what
finally
you did
turned it on us.
What you did, you've been playing that for a long time?
For a while.
That was terrible radio.
Well, now at least we know you were... Because she seemed like a sympathetic kind of character at the time, but you were actually trying to trip her up, it seemed.
I didn't try to make her unsympathetic.
We felt like you were obsessed with the food.
I wasn't obsessed. I'm trying to get the whole story. Yeah. How did the guy get in? He's knocked her out.
Right.
She's driven to a place. She's you got her around the corner. Mm-hmm. He's got the food. Remember, where is the food?
Where's the
front
food?
seat?
Right.
Said back seat. I never asked the question.
Right.
Okay.
He's got to knock her out. He's got to bang her head against the door.
Right.
Get her out of the car. Right. Mm-hmm. What happened to the food?
She was knocked out. She don't know.
I'm a detective. I'm in.
He's a detective.
He just turned that on.
By the way,
he really did.
That
was
led
fantastic.
to the series. I don't want to hurt you guys too badly, but it was that clip that led to the series Law and Order.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jerry Orbach was listening that day, and the rest is history.
Hey, I want to ask, getting back to the comedy thing, who was the funniest guy you've ever seen?
Oh, well, I love comedians, and they're my favorite people. Mel Brooks was...
Mel Brooks.
Oh, Mel Brooks was insane. Rickles is insane. Chris Rock. So many funny people. Seinfeld is hysterical. Larry David is drop-dead funny.
Yeah.
I love Rickles.
Kirby Rickles. His birthday yesterday. He's 85.
And still doing it.
Still doing it. Larry, and he and I, his son's name is Larry, he and I go back to 1970 60.
Wow.
And he came on my show at Pumpernicks. He came dressed as a busboy.
Wow.
He would walk around. You want more butter? You, lady? You're asking. I had him on with Lenny Bruce once. One of the good stories. You guys knew Lenny Bruce?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Lenny was a friend of mine. See, I go back.
Yeah.
All right, Lenny's on. We're on at Pumpernicks. Me and Rickles, and Lenny walks in a prison uniform. A full Florida State Rayford prison uniform. And I put Lenny and Rickles on together. And the obvious question, Lenny, why are you wearing a prison uniform? He had a friend at Rayford that smuggled the uniform out to him, and he likes to wear it on the street, and he likes to ask cops directions while wearing it. Why, Lenny? He says, because he likes to see what's in the cop's mind. Why is this convict asking me directions? This guy's got to be an escaped convict. Do I make a pinch? But what if it's a brilliant guy who thinks I won't think that an escaped convict, so I can't be an escaped convict? So it's just a gag. But what if it isn't a gag?
That's
and I'm
exactly
letting a
how
guy,
he was.
and he's going through his whole thing, and it was Lenny. And Rickles says, Lenny, get a job.
That's Rickles.
It was really funny.
And Seinfeld was probably some of your, I think, your best shows with as far as having a comedian on.
I love Jerry.
It always looked like there was some type of tension between you two.
I don't know why. Of course, when I asked him, were you canceled, he got mad.
Right.
Yeah,
We play that clip a lot, too, Larry.
Were you aware we were the #1 show?
You were not aware of this, Larry?
You followed that up. That same night, we were both on Conan. Mm-hmm. We kidded about it that night. He still
great.
kids me about it. Then he put me in the Bumblebee movie. I was Larry B. King. Yes. Did you ever see the Bee movie?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
He put me in the Bee. I say we're very far. I see him at ball games. Mm-hmm. You know,
yeah,
that was
the exchange.
By the
was
way,
always
I don't
very good.
follow. See, I don't read all the columns about television or why shows go off and on. I can't name the sitcoms that are on tonight. Mm-hmm. I can't name them. Right. I was just on Better with You. Mm-hmm. I was a guest on that show. I've been in 24 movies, but I don't run and see a lot of movies. I try. So I don't follow television. I don't know why shows leave.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
So it was an honest question by you.
Yeah, I didn't know. Why
you just didn't know.
Why would a show leave after 9 years?
Mm-hmm.
And where were the groceries?
And where would it? That was another good question.
I don't doubt
How
it.
does he spin that one?
I know.
It's because he's been around a lot longer than us.
No, when you played the Prelude, if you just played one, if you guys just play, here's a girl that's just been raped, here's Larry's question. What happened to the groceries? But that wasn't what happened. So
Right.
you guys have been defrauding your audience?
Of course.
Well, now we got the
Which,
answer.
by the way, has nothing to do with you guys.
No.
We've had a hell of a ride.
Well, Larry's got to wrap it up. But you
I'll
must
be in Atlantic City Saturday
yes.
night
Oh,
at the
really?
Borgata and in Boston Sunday night.
You go see Larry King. Obviously,
get a
with
big kick.
the
You're
years of
honest, they're funny
stories and
stories.
stuff, it's got to be extremely interesting and funny.
How long you two been together?
17
17 years.
17 years.
Are you
Amazing.
socially friendly?
No.
Not like we used to be. No, he lives in the city. I live out in the suburbs.
We have different lives.
Yeah, we used to. Our lives used to be a lot more
Now, wait a minute. Hold on.
common.
I'm married with a kid.
You're a city guy married with a kid. You're a single guy, no kids, and you live in the
I
suburbs.
live out on Long Island. Yeah,
Why do you live way
got a
out?
compound.
because I like a big house with
But
a
there's
pool.
no
and-
action.
No, you get Larry.
Larry, it's not far.
He knocks him back.
It's
he's doing fine.
LaGuardia's real close for the far ones, and the train is there for the close ones.
You like having LaGuardia close?
Oh, it's nice.
Worst airport in America.
They
You
could
like
go-
it?
It's
please.
horrible when you
That's
fly
what
into that
voted,
place.
It's voted the worst airport.
Like landing on a carrier deck at
scary.
goddamn airport.
I was at the Met game yesterday. Boy, a plane goes every 20 seconds. Who's in
yeah.
the control
You
tower?
could count the
Who's
rivets.
asleep?
Yeah. You don't know if they're going to land right on the
More
field.
importantly, they know they're going to
Frightening.
get a new stadium, and they put it right where the traffic is still. Move
Yeah,
it
they could've
somewhere
moved it a
else.
little
Yeah.
bit.
Move
By
it a
the way,
mile.
what's the greatest misterm ever said? I'll tell it to you, okay? Near miss.
Near miss.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well,
It's a near hit.
it's a near
Of course.
hit. It's a good miss.
Why do we say near
It's a
miss?
far miss.
Why do we say it? We're all. Why do you keep looking away?
Huh?
You keep looking out the window.
No, because we have instant feedback and phone calls. I'm just seeing if anyone has something that is good for this segment.
This is like modern radio.
Yeah.
You
Oh, that's
pre-screen the calls, huh?
Yeah, because
I never pre-screen calls.
Well, we go
radio.
cold, and you realize it's just nonsense, and they don't have anything.
Yeah, not even during the Baba Booey years. You didn't pre-screen.
Oh boy, I would never have felt proud if someone were calling in saying "Baba Booey" in honor of me.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you still like radio?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Sure. Why?
We don't. No, but I like satellite. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's the best medium of all.
We're frustrated.
It's the best medium because you can think anything you want. You don't have to put makeup on.
But regular radio you still find fascinating?
Well, I find, I know, I listen to Sirius all the time.
Yeah.
I'm a sports junkie, so I listen to ESPN, and what I love is old-time radio, too. Your channel of old-time radio.
Right. The Shadow knows,
Shadow.
like you
You
said.
bring back some of the best shows, Suspense.
Right. Were you a Lakers fan?
No, Clippers. I'm an
Clipper.
underdog
You're one of those
fan.
guys.
Yeah, we don't make
Underdog
the playoffs.
guy.
No, but it's great when you don't make the playoffs.
Lakers got
You don't have
swept.
anything
You don't have to worry about
More
anything.
people said over the Lakers today. Clipper fans are walking around. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's gotta
go.
go.
Roland's
Okay,
telling
guys.
us you got to
Larry, this was a pleasure for us.
Thank
I got
you
to
so
say.
much.
Great meeting you
Absolutely.
finally.
And
Thank
how do
you.
we? How do they find out where you're going to be? Because you have a lot of dates there. But is there one?
Is there one
one place they could go?
Where do you go?
Because now I want to
hold
see.
on.
Probably a website.
No,
I
you
would
can get
gather.
information. There's a website. Hold on.
Yeah.
Where do they go for Larry King dates?
What?
BaseEntertainment.com.
Oh, yeah. Base Entertainment. BASE.
Okay.
Entertainment.com. BaseEntertainment.com. And as I leave you guys,
Larry
I have
King?
only one thing.
Yes, sir.
What happened to the groceries?
Larry King, everyone.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry. Are we done?
Yeah.
All right, we're done too.
You done for the day?
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll see you
bye,
guys tomorrow.
everybody.
All right.
Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony Show on the virus. Sirius XM.
People are going to be shocked, but we're still here.
Yeah, a little OT.
We wanted to do a post Larry King thing.
Yeah, got to wrap up a little from something like that. That guy's like
Dude, he was so fucking cool.
radio legend, television legend,
Yeah.
broadcasting legend. So, and we have had a lot of mileage on this very show with Larry King.
Well, just to take you inside a little bit, we didn't know how to handle Larry King because we have beat him up
Yes, so much.
in the last few years.
First of all, I want to apologize to Sam Roberts for cutting into his showtime.
No apology needed.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I was relieved because I was
When you realized that he wasn't doing the show at 10?
We're not talking about me.
Oh, sorry.
I certainly was a huge Larry King fan.
Yeah.
And especially when in his prime because he is like a great interviewer.
Yeah.
And then it got a little weird at the end there. But
Groceries.
and we didn't know how we were going to handle the Larry King interview, and he made fun of himself, which threw the fucking what we were thinking of doing away.
Well, he's old enough too. I guess you just reach a point where you're like, I don't give a shit
Right.
what people think or say anymore. I was very surprised at how candid he was about his marriages.
No kidding.
Being like loveless and just kind of being married because he doesn't even know why he
Right.
got married, and saying that he's only loved like maybe 3 times,
Right.
and been married 8 times. I mean, that leaves a lot of loveless marriages.
But did we not relate to him?
Oh yeah,
With our
that's
past
what I
relationships,
mean.
because he's
Fuck
like
yeah.
when he said I don't know why, I could say the same thing about my long-term relationship when we were becoming big radio stars.
And my marriage.
I don't know
Absolutely.
why.
I don't know why.
But if
Stuck that shit
and
out.
it's same shit. If NEW called or there was an urgent situation at home, I would have taken the call from NEW.
And not only that, we used to stay late after the show was over,
Right.
just to avoid having to go home.
And we just stayed in these dumb relationships.
Yeah, and then you regret like all the thoughts of the fucking
What I could have done with that
Kahlua
time.
girls,
Right.
At the club appearances we used to do, and they asked us to go skinny dipping with them and shit, and you got to say no because you got to get home to your fucking wife that you're not even going to be with in a while. What a waste. God, those girls were hot. Fuck.
We should have had pond scum on us.
I know. Should have smelled like fucking vagina and bacteria.
And I'll also break down another wall because Stephen S. from Bayshore goes, "Wow, Ope, I love the very quick no." And Larry King asks if you guys hang out and are friends. That's become a bit.
It's like, Opie said no, and I went, not anymore.
Right.
Of course you're going to.
If you need to know, we're in different worlds and live, in different places.
We used to live not even a quarter mile away from each other.
Exactly.
Like
right across Main
it was
Street.
a lot easier for one to call up and just go, you want to grab some sushi, you want to do something, you want to get away from our chicks, something.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot more difficult now. You got a kid. I'm just fucking,
But when I yell
Long
no
Island
quickly, it's
white trash.
It's a joke.
Yeah, lighten up.
But Larry was great.
He was great. And look, I ain't buying that where are the groceries excuse he came up with.
You know,
that was ludicrous.
But that's a guy that's been broadcasting for, if he's 77, you got to think almost 60 years, 55 years.
Yeah.
He spun that shit right in our faces. And we're
was able
veterans
to
at this
come back.
point.
I know.
But it just shows he's got even way more experience.
Now, see, that was a brilliant question.
He knows. He
not only defended it like it wasn't stupid,
Right.
he said it was a brilliant question.
Right.
Now, that's what a set of balls.
And we just went,
yeah, all right, Larry, you got me. Horrible rape. What happened to the food? That's a great question.
And when
yes, Sam Roberts?
I asked him about the board.
Oh, the board, because the skateboard one, now, because
That's a
there was a
biggie,
guy,
too.
he had to go. We could have sat here with him another hour talking about shit like that.
Because sometimes when someone like Larry King comes in, you almost want the time to go by fast because you're like, oh, my God, it's fucking Larry King. But then we all start feeling comfortable. I wish we had another half hour, 45 minutes with the guy.
Because the board was the skateboard one. We
Yeah.
had the guy that he was skateboarding, and it was the guy that took the big fall
Yes.
from the half pipe, if you remember that a couple of years back. And he asked the gentleman, how important is the board? In skateboarding, he wanted to know how important was the board. Now, you actually asked him that?
I told him that we've played that clip more than almost any other clip we've played. And he actually explained the question.
Yes.
He shoved me and called me an idiot for even asking. He said that's not a bad question at all. He goes, for instance, if you have a great skateboarder and you give him a $20 skateboard, and you have an average skateboarder, and you give him a $100 skateboard, who are you going to put your money on? And I said, and he said, exactly, you don't know.
So he should have said, how important is the quality of the board? See, the question
Get
was
him
too
back
vague,
in here.
Larry. The question, Larry, too vague.
They call me an idiot for even questioning the question.
That I completely agree with Larry King on.
All right.
And then the Seinfeld
He
thing.
pushes you?
Yeah.
Does he have old man
The
strength?
You're an idiot and your hair is stupid.
He's got a little strength to him.
Does he?
course he
Yeah.
does.
Some old man strength still.
Of course he does. That was great. Larry killed.
That was good, man. That was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time.
Yeah.
All right.
Larry King. I guess we're going to announce the winner of the Opie and Anthony Most Annoying 30 Seconds of Audio contest. The winner's going to get $2,000 cash from Steven Singer Jewelers. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. Do that now. But what are we going to do? What do we decide on that?
We're gonna announce the winner tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Because we have to replay all of them and all that.
Yeah, we
Is
got
that
to
all right,
replay
Travis?
the winners and stuff. Trap
it's totally
Dog.
It's totally fine.
Trav.
As long as we have the winner today, I think we're okay, right?
Yeah,
So-
no, it's cool. You gave Steven Singer's plugs. That's probably
All right, so we'll have third place, second place, and the winner tomorrow for everybody.
Sure.
Finally.
Sorry
about that.
By the way, your little Riley there on Mother's Day. The Mother's Day message from little Riley was just adorable.
She's the best.
And Eastside Dave's staying and babysitting his children, I guess, while for Mother's Day he let his wife kind of go out
And do her thing.
is fucking hilarious.
Really? I gotta
It's
check it out
just the
now.
kids crying that they want their mommy.
The whole time.
Crying really loud. And then Eastside Dave kind of puts the camera sort of on his face, and he's just bewildered looking between the children, and then it cuts off. It's classic Eastside Dave.
I miss having him around here.
Yeah, that fucking guy is hilarious. Where do you find that? Dave McDonald?
He's got his.
It's on his Facebook.
It's on his Facebook, man.
I'll check it out.
That fucking guy is hilarious.
That should be viral.
Do you got that? Turn that up, because just the sound alone of the kids crying.
Well, you can fill in the pictures like Larry King
Yes.
says. The Shadow News.
It's not
It
clicking.
doesn't want to work.
No.
Fucking computers, right? It's always when you need them. Always.
I'll try to reload.
Preload.
I cannot get this.
Oh well.
I cannot.
Now
get
go
play
to see it
click.
yourself. It's
bad.
it's hilarious though.
Other people viewed it 2,000 something times, so
Dave's hilarious.
it works on your machine, folks.
All right, yeah. Well,
That was a career moment, though.
that was a biggie.
Fucking
That was a
Larry
biggie,
King.
man. Larry King's fucking
You realize
legend in
we
broadcasting.
were interviewing Larry King.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up right
That's
there.
huge.
I-
Huge.
I was ready to say, why don't you just interview us?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Let's be real here. What do you want to ask us? Because
please.
we're not worthy to actually
Nothing.
interview you.
Nothing. What did you do with the talent?
Then he hung out with Jackie Gleason.
I know. Fuck, man.
And then fucking Don Rickles and Lenny Bruce just did his radio show one day.
Yeah.
Is that the equivalent of having
That's
Bob
like-
Kelly and Rich Voss?
That's like Bobo and
Yeah.
Stalker Patty. Yeah. You think Gleason ever went, why am I suspended from the show?
Fucking
Why do I have to do the shit show? The shit show, he calls it.
It's hard to get in because Larry's very much in control, but I wanted to slow him down a little bit when he said the Jackie Gleason train, because his legendary stories about
about sex on
that
the
train being a
train.
big party train.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the rumor was Gleason didn't like to fly, so he
Yep.
he had this party train that went from city to city when he was performing. But I heard it was booze and broads and just one
Yeah.
big party going on.
Gleason was known as a fat, womanizing drunk.
Right.
That's great.
But we couldn't get in at that point to ask Larry to give us more info on that.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Maybe next time we get Larry King.
That'll never happen.
I know.
That was just one of those things.
Oh, boy. I don't like the question about the food and the skateboard. Fuck them.
Fucking spun it on us, brother.
I know.
Wait till Jimmy hears that. He's fucking spun it on us and made it make sense.
Made it sound like a great question.
Yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy your day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Later.
You're listening to Opie and Anthony on the Virus, Sirius XM.